Breaking news, the hotfix for the First Descendant 1.04 just landed. Wow, was that fast. This is the one we wanted. The one that addresses the Vulgus strategic outposts. Their cooldowns have been adjusted. We have buffs to gold, void shards, and details on the upcoming season landing on August 1st. Whoa, so much to talk about. Let's get to it.
Makes it exciting!
There's been a ton of discussion on the reward system in the First Descendant, especially since the Volby run hit the community. That's the one you're going in circles on in the fortress. Yeah, so that's been changed. Now, the details on that, well, we're going to cover those in this video, as well as the Vulgus strategic outpost changes that are super important to the overall grind in this game, especially if you're farming Descendants. So this is the hotfix 1.04, and it went live today, which is July 24th. I also did not see any client-side updates on my end. Let me know if you do. I'm on the Xbox. Okay, content improvements. So module storage limit has been increased from 1,000 to 1,500. That's actually very huge. So just yesterday, I wish this was live yesterday, my modules got full while I was in the field and I didn't notice. I was in a fight. A Transcendent mod landed on the ground and I couldn't snag it, nor did it get sent to my mailbox. And so I missed out on that. So I'm really happy they increased that to 1,500. Yeah, I'm surprised too that my mods get full, but if you're doing a lot of farming Volby run, then yeah, it happens. All right, here's the big one. So cooldown for Vulgus strategic outpost has been reduced from 5 minutes to 1 minute. That's a dream. So I put out that video the other day discussing this, and I asked the community, hey, what would you like to see here? Now for me, I mentioned that it needs to be 2 minutes or faster. 1 minute is okay because you need time for your skills to cool off. You need time to sort through your stash. Sometimes you go to the void reactors and fight the bosses over there, and by the time you come back, then it's ready for you to go again. Especially if you're using the share and hack strategy, a little bit of a cooldown is a good idea. So I don't think it could get any better than that. That's a huge game changer to the grind. So RNG hopefully doesn't feel so bad for the community. Let me know how this makes you feel. Would love to see your thoughts in the comments. And of course, we will be testing out all of these changes throughout the day. I hope we find some nice surprises as well. So spawning time between monster respawn has been increased, and the reward amount has been adjusted at the Vulgus strategic outpost. So that's good news, I guess, but no details on what reward amount has been adjusted. I'm guessing drops, overall drops, like gold drops, Kuiper shards, and general loot dropping, because as they mentioned related to the Volby run, they wanted to buff all of the outposts to be more rewarding. I think this is a nod to that element. Okay, void fragments. So void fragments are a detail that you need in order to interact with the void reactors, which give you a really good chance at getting what you're seeking from those patterns. And they're alternates to fighting the Colossus. They're actually pretty darn hard, in many cases harder than the Colossus, but I like fighting them as an alternate, or I bounce between the Colossus fights and the void reactors when farming for a particular ultimate. So that way it just kind of varies up my activities. But the annoying part is that in order to interact with the orbs, you have to have these void fragments. Now before, somebody could interact with it using their void fragments and it wouldn't consume yours. But with the last patch, they changed that due to some people exploiting that feature. So now everybody's got to have void shards, which is a big bummer. And the worst part about it all is the activity related to getting those void fragments is very mundane. It's basically running around in circles. And you need so many of them because of RNG that you end up doing that activity for quite a while. Void fragments will now drop when defeating monsters in special operations. There will be the most void fragment drops at the special operation neutralize void experiment. Great news, we're gonna have to try that out. Okay, using mark for arrest. So this is a consumable thing that a lot of people are overlooking. I'll probably do a whole video on it. Items obtained from special operations will grant 10 times the usual amount of gold. Wow. When Mark of Arrest is used from Consumables tab, it will convert to 100,000 gold. And high value Mark for Arrest will convert to 1 million in gold. So special operations are looking quite interesting now. I think we're gonna have to do more of those. Farm video coming. Okay, the director puts out a comment.
Let's do this!
With this adjustment, the reward amount at Fortress Outpost has been reduced. Boo, I know, but let's just admit it. It was ridiculous, right? The amount of drops, but we need something like that to help us level up our characters and our gold. It's crazy how fast gold is consumed. I had 19 million in gold yesterday, and I was driving it down below 10 million, just leveling up a mod or two. They say here, however, to ensure that Volby Run remains a popular hunting ground like Ambush Point and Refined Run, well, they're very familiar with all the farming routes. That's funny. We have set the reward efficiency significantly higher than originally intended. There's been a lot of controversy there, right? So they put out a post saying that, hey, we see what you guys are doing in the Volby Run. We're not going to nerf it, but we're going to go around and buff all the other strategic outposts to be more rewarding. That's the gist of that original post. Some people misinterpreted that as saying that they're going to leave the Fortress Run as it is. I never thought that. I knew they were going to address it because it was not as intended, but they were going to go around and buff everything else to be more rewarding. Not like what is technically an exploit happening at the Volby Run. That needs to be addressed, and they did that. So I know some people are going to be disappointed there, but realistically, that just can't exist. That's where everybody's going to hang out, and that breaks the game, including the servers, by the way. Then what happened is they put out another post saying that there was a mistranslation there that we did not intend, and that made people think we were going to go around and buff all the other outposts. So it wasn't everybody's fault that they understood it that way. It was the way it read, but it looks like they're sort of meeting us in the middle here, and this does need to be tested, so I'll have to go out there and see. We hope to provide numerous farming spots in the First Descendant, each with unique characteristics and usefulness to different descendants. Instead of reverting Volby Run to its original design intent, we have adjusted it to offer similar efficiency to other high reward hunting grounds. Yeah, cool. Well, hopefully it still feels rewarding. I was at Ambush Point yesterday because I was looking for some code breakers. It's still pretty darn rewarding, I gotta say. It wasn't as crazy as Ambush Point, but man, you can farm that thing over and over really fast, especially if there's somebody standing by the button. Okay, additionally, we have shortened the cooldowns for all outposts so the players can play them more frequently without deliberately failing and no longer need to search for outposts with shorter cooldowns by moving around the map. God, that was so annoying. People kept saying, why don't you just go from this point to that point? Why don't you just fast travel to reset it? First of all, it wasn't consistent. Many times I would fast travel to another outpost and come back, and the clock would be longer. And then I got tips saying, hey, it works only like 70 or 80% of the time. But when I would fast travel back and forth like 3 times in a row and it didn't reset the clock, I felt like I was just wasting time. And with the Sharon strategy where you're trying to hack those terminals, so many times it would just fail for no reason. I'd be invisible and it wouldn't allow me to interact with them as if they detected me. Then they would spot us, and then we'd have to go run and hide, and then the whole army follows us to our hiding point, and it was just such a waste of time that it was just more efficient to stand there staring into the abyss than it was to try to reset the cooldown by fast traveling all over the map. I'm so glad they're adjusting this because it sucks to have to work around the game system. It says we have also added gold rewards to special operations and adjusted 4 types of void fragments to be randomly dropped. Oh, cool. Okay, they didn't say that above. So the void fragments will also be randomly dropped. That's great. So we're just by playing, we're gonna be collecting those. Oh, thank Jesus. Allowing players to choose and utilize various hunting grounds. Yes, please. I want to spend more time fighting than farming. You know, I mean, we're always farming. That's sort of the point of a looter shooter. I play the Division 2, and when I want to go and just fight, I still choose good hunting grounds when it comes to gear. And I hope for those to be my favorite spots. And when they are, I'm super happy. Through issues like Fortress Outskirts and Volby Run, we are learning what kind of play style our players enjoy. The experience of sweeping through and farming monsters is significant value in our game. Your feedback and interest are what drive the continuous improvements of the First Descendant. We will always listen to your feedback and improve the game. That's great news. I think that's pretty good. I know people were really bummed about the translation issue, but in my opinion, it looks like it's all gonna work out. Now we just need them to hear about our inventory issues. I put out that video yesterday. Be sure to check that one out. We need to hear your opinions on this. Remember, the devs are listening to our feedback, so put out some constructive stuff. Well, we get way more with this patch than I thought we would get. So week 5 update preview.
Let's do this!
Along with the patch notes, we have prepared information about next week's update. Please look forward to it. Sea of Emerald. We get the ultimate Volby right on. So finally, the Magisters have completed the ultimate project for Volby. The ultimate equipment called Sea of Emerald has fulfilled Volby's long-held desire. It is a nano suit that replaces Volby's former body color and texture. Although covered in a thin layer, Volby feels like regaining a long forgotten part of herself. What does that mean? She's a mermaid? Ultimate Volby's modification modules. Spiral Tidal Wave. All right, she gets new mods. So replace the bubble bullet, which was difficult to aim. It was kind of random, with a projectile that flies straight. Spiral Tidal Waves attracts the impurities of gluttony. That's the new boss coming, the new Colossus, making it an excellent choice for intercepting gluttony. Hydro Pressure Bomb instead of plop plop. It leaps forward and deals damage to enemies around the landing area. Cool. The more enemies in the laundry state, the more powerful the damage, making Hydro Pressure Bomb a strong finishing blow. Instead of diving into the water, leap joyfully forward. I like the water thing, but it's kind of a slow animation that can get you into trouble. The new Descendant, Luna. All right, I'm excited about her. So the mad artist Luna has returned to Albion after a long wandering performance. Luna's synthesizer gun becomes more powerful when fired in rhythm, enhancing allies' abilities. Oh, cool. So she's a team buffer. Enhances allies' abilities based on the performance. When Luna dances to upbeat music, allies' skill power increases. And when dancing to relaxing music, allies' mentality recovers and resource consumption decreases. Invite everyone to Luna's concert. Unfortunately for Vorgus, I think that's Volgus, it will be their last stage, but Luna's performance is just beginning. Huh, that sounds really cool, but I wonder how she's gonna perform in a solo state. Because there's guys like Enzo, who's great for team, but he can also hold his own running solo. Now, he's nothing like an AoE like Bunny. She can clear, you know, that general open world content in seconds, but he can hold his own. He can do those activities. And so I hope Luna has the same ability. Eugen too, you know, I have not seen a ton on Eugen out there. I myself haven't used him. I don't have him yet. So I'm curious to see if he can do that as well. If he can be a, how do we say, combat medic. So Luna's modification modules. Nimble Footsteps enhances Luna's mobility and oh, she's gonna be fast, and amplifies the effect range of her performance, allowing for more effective ally support. Noise Surge transforms Luna from a supporter to a combat dealer. Hey, we were just talking about that. Awesome. So she can be a fighter. Dashes towards enemies in rhythm, dealing damage to nearby enemies. So AoE. When the inspiration gauge is full, summons a stage to recover mental strength and shields. Awesome. Provides enemies with a terrifying musical experience with Noise Surge. Looking forward to trying that one. Gluttony. The Mutated Devourer. All right, so we got a new Void boss. It's a giant that indulges in void energy. It is equipped with systems to mine void energy and a cooling system to cool the heat generated during the process. To counter gluttony, you need measures to withstand its cooling performance and the judgment to exploit its greedy temperament. Intercept gluttony and collect new ultimate weapons. All right, so he's gonna drop those, or their patterns, and external components. Yeah, so we're gonna get new external components. That's really cool. I like farming those. They have nice little added buffs. It's a grind though, still need to get more. New ultimate weapon piece, Mediator. So when meditation is necessary to bring peace to Ingress, oh, I think that's supposed to say when mediation, that's spelled wrong. When mediation is necessary to bring peace to Ingress, the new ultimate weapon, Peace Mediator, is the perfect solution. This powerful hand cannon is effective even with single shots, but can unleash a burst of bullets to deliver powerful firepower under the right conditions. So it goes from single shot to rapid fire, I'm guessing. That's cool. Or if it is burst, that'd be like the 94R, you know, the 3-4 shot burst. That's kind of cool. New ultimate module, Arch Concretion. Provides arcade concretion effect, which increases defense and mentality when using skills, but decreases movement speed and attack power. It is useful for Luna and Ajax and can be a good choice for players who want stable skill use. Your choices are free. Combine various modules to create your unique build. I need this mod. I've been looking for something like that. You got a lot of defense and skill power, and there's even some HP and cooldowns, but not a lot around defense plus mentality. And so that's huge. I need that combination for a lot of these skill spamming descendants. So I'm very excited about that. You know what I would also like to see is some synergies between weapons and skills. So I would like to see some either weapon mods or an ultimate weapon that resets your cooldowns or significantly reduces them or earns you more MP, not just from a drop, but maybe on hit, something like that. In the week 5 update, we have decided to make balance adjustments for some descendants and ultimate weapons. Uh-oh, is this good or bad?
Let's do this!
Here's our first real balancing to these things. First, we are adjusting Valby, Blair, and Freyna, who use AoE as their main skills. Ooh, I see what they're doing. I see what they're doing. I don't even have to read this to know. So we hope to see these descendants more effectively dominate the battlefield, creating large AoE zones and leisurely watching enemies fall from the rear. Look forward to improved performance for these wide range covering descendants. Buffs, buffs, buffs. That's what that is. But why? Why are they buffing these? Well, these devs are really listening closely to what's going on out there in the community and how many people are complaining about Bunny. So a lot, and I get it. Bunny is kind of annoying when she enters into the fight because she's so damn good at clearing ads, even bosses. In some instances, you don't get a lot of Kuiper credit, or you might not even be considered in the fight to get the final rewards if you can't land a shot on an enemy. And some of these fights are so fast with a really good Bunny, you literally can't get a shot off on an enemy. And that does create a problem for you because you just missed out on some rewards. And that puts the game in a tough spot because Bunny is front and center of this game as one of the most popular characters. She was pumped up early through marketing and people love her. They do. Now, for me personally, I do like her. I think she's a fantastic character, but there's a but there. This is a looter shooter, and there has to be a balance between skills and weapon use. And you must see that the best Bunny builds out there doesn't really ever use a weapon. Maybe like once on a boss or something like that, but never uses the weapon. And that's because if she stands still, she dies for the most part. She's got to be on the move. That's how she gets her energy. That's how she kills. And that's what she's good at. But it creates a problem for the other characters. So what do the devs do here? Do they nerf Bunny? Well, you can't really do that because people purchase the ultimate Bunny package. And if she's nerfed and they don't like her, wow, there's gonna be some resentment. So how do you adjust that? Well, that means they're gonna have to buff these other characters that do AoE. So they didn't do a buff across the board, but Volby, Blair, and Freyna are all buff. Now, I got a Freyna build that is OP. I mean, she competes with Bunny because Bunny has to run around where Freyna can hold it down and she can have a massive area of effect if you build it right, which that's the way I built mine. And she can launch at incredibly long distances, like crazy, if you build for that. And that means you can launch your poison and kill those enemies before Bunny can even get to them, depending on the map. Now, those little tight circular areas, yeah, well, Bunny's got that one down pretty good, doesn't she? So either way, they're buffing her, Volby, and Blair, and that's really exciting. Okay, additionally, there will be improvements to ultimate weapons that enhance critical chance and damage. Oh, thank God. Did you notice the crit rates are really low on many of these weapons? And some of them just don't make sense. Like the Python is really low on crits, if I remember right. And SMG should be high because you're playing in really close ranges. So that's my thoughts. Enduring Legacy Machine Gun, Secret Garden, and the Devotion Hand Cannon will be improved to boast more powerful firepower and critical settings. So I think the Python should be there on the critical settings. I understand why they're not doing that because it's actually crazy strong from a time to kill from a DPS perspective, but still. Anyways, moreover, Greg's reversed fate, I have this thing, I've yet to use it, will be adjusted to activate its unique effect and more chances. We are also improving the functionality of single shot weapons, allowing players to choose between single shot and rapid fire modes. Hey, that's nice. I think tactical rifles overall need a buff. They don't feel very good. Not like the scouts. The scouts are awesome, but you have to be in scope. Yeah, the tactical rifles all feel like an M16, and in many games, the M16 is, well, underwhelming. That's the word I'm looking for. It's sort of like that in this game too. I don't know what's with that burst fire. It just doesn't feel good in any game that I play. That's my opinion though. You might love it. But the tactical rifles, they really have a poor time to kill. Lastly, there will also be more improvements for convenience to be included in the Week 5 update. Plus new cosmetics, yay, that many players have been waiting for will be out. So please just wait one more week. So what do you guys think are the changes that you're looking for in there? Did they miss some things? What did they not include in this patch and the coming one that you feel like is needed? Thank you for hanging out with me. My name is Tuxedo Bandido. That's Tito Bandido.
One and only.
And this was another episode of The First Descendant. If you found this video helpful, subscribe, like, and turn on notifications to ensure you don't miss out on the fantastic experiences waiting for you in The First Descendant. And if you like videos like this, check out the one I have recommended for you right here. If you have anything you want to see covered, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And thank you to all the channel members and donors who make everything possible. Tux Nation wouldn't be without you.
When you buy or download anything for the First Descendant, be sure to use Tux's creator code to support the channel. Easy peasy.
Follow me.